Hello, fun people. I'm Isaac Carlson, and on Following Dreams, I'm focused on exploring the stories of people who are following their passions and achieving their dreams. I want to help inspire you to pursue what you love by hearing how others have done it. Today, I'm speaking with a man who has become famous on the internet for loving Toy Story, has collaborated with some of his favorite YouTubers, the Super Carlin Brothers, and has worked with Disney to attend premieres and interviews to promote films like Incredibles 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet. To see his Pixar, Harry Potter, and variety content, you can check him out on his YouTube channel that's named after himself. Welcome, Seamus Gorman.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting.
Yeah, I was glad that you were so excited to come on. He was messaging me on Twitter that he was glad that he was able to come on and do an interview.
I'm honored. I'm really honored.
That's great, dude.
I love that my thing, I got famous for loving Toy Story. I want that. I might make that my Twitter bio. Like...
You know, I figured you'd probably appreciate that.
I really did.
It's definitely built around your brand as
100%.
the man who loves Toy Story.
Yeah, I'm really glad I built that as a brand. I think, like, that wasn't my brand when I first met you, but since then, I don't know how I've done it, but I have done it. So people know I like Toy Story now. Like, there's no questioning it anymore.
Yeah, Toy Story and Harry Potter are tied with Seamus Gorman forever.
Yes, very much.
All right, Seamus, the first question I want to ask you is one that I want to ask every single guest that comes on. What are you passionate about? What is your passion in this whole YouTube thing, in your life, whatever it may be? What is it?
That is a really, really good question. Well, like, I mean, I genuinely do love good films. Like, in my head, it doesn't really matter where the film comes from, but if it speaks to me on a personal level in some way that made me think, yeah, that's a really good film, I really like it, and I really enjoyed it, then that's what I would say I really like. But, like, in terms of, like, making videos as well, I do really enjoy sharing my thoughts with people on stuff like that. I think that's kind of why I see my content as now, just kind of sharing my thoughts on things, whether that be my theories, other people's theories, reviews on films. I really do love seeing something that I really enjoy and talking about it.
Yeah. So that's what you see your content as now? You feel like you're more of going towards, like, commentary on pop culture more?
I can see that. Yeah, well, obviously I started... Like, around the same time as you started, I think we both started making, like, you were doing a lot of discovering Disney, and I was doing just a lot of Pixar theories. And I think I've even addressed that recently, that I definitely hit, like, a brick wall with Pixar theories at one point. Like, there just wasn't enough for me to talk about. But that doesn't exclude me from doing Pixar theories. It's just, I do just, like to talk about things in general, whether that thing be a theory or, like, my thoughts on someone else's theories. I'm definitely starting up, like, reacting to theories a lot recently. I've done 2 episodes now, but I want to do a lot more.
Sure. Because now you're thinking that you want to develop more content around building ideas of your own and commentating on those. And is that something that scared you when you moved away from theories?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. See, I don't think there was, like, one definitive day when I was like, I'm not making theories anymore. And I still wouldn't say I don't make theories anymore. Like, once Toy Story 4 comes out on DVD, I'm still gonna make some videos about that and definitely discuss theories about that, because there's a lot of stuff, the amount of Easter eggs in that film. Like, so I don't think there was a definitive day, but yeah, definitely I was scared. Like, there'd be times where I think I could go back on my channel and see a video where I was like, yeah, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel for that one, and I bet if you look at those videos, there'd be quite a long period of time between that video and the one before, because I was desperate just to upload something that I felt like my audience wanted to see in terms of, like, Pixar theory, Harry Potter theory. Definitely in last year or so, I definitely could see a few that I'm like, yeah, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel with that.
Oh, okay. So you felt like you were unpleased or not pleased with the type of content that you were making, so you wanted to vocalize that you were going to make a shift.
Yeah, it was a lot of I noticed viewership as well. That obviously played a factor. I noticed Pixar theories didn't get as many views as they used to. Maybe it was because I was, as I said, scraping the bottom of the barrel in some cases. But I think there was a point when I was I always kind of did other stuff on the side of doing theories. And there was a point when it kind of shifted where the theories weren't doing as well as the other videos. And I think I was enjoying making the other videos a bit more as well. But I almost consider them in the same bracket in a weird way. Like me discussing why, I don't know, if they're going to make if they're ever going to finish the Fantastic Beasts series, to me is similar. I feel the same when making it as I do when discussing theories for the future of the Fantastic Beasts series. So in that way, there didn't feel like there was a shift, but I mean, if you actually look at the videos, there clearly was.
Yeah, because on your end, it doesn't feel like you're making a different type of video, but for the viewer, it might.
100%. Yeah, no, I can see that really clearly. Like, for me, it's all day, every day. For a viewer, it's 8 minutes once a week. So,
yeah.
Like, obviously, there's a huge difference in that. But no, I don't think I made a massive shift. I just like talking about what I find interesting. And I think even when I was making theories, topical stuff is always what does best. Like when I look back at it, like, I don't know, we were just discussing like a minute ago that your like video on Nightmare Before Christmas, which came out around October, right? Yeah, Halloween. Yeah. And so like if a video is topical, I always think it does better. This isn't really answering the question at all, but I always find like, I think my biggest video, I don't know if you remember this, there was a big, like, Pixar posted this big post about Easter eggs connecting the film before to the film after on Facebook. Like 50 million views. Everyone was like, did they confirm the Pixar theory? And I made a Pixar theory talking about one of those connections, like, a week later. And that video went on to get, and I think that is my most viewed video now. So, like,
wow.
It's always topical stuff I've found that does well. So whether that be a theory or whether that be talking about J.K. Rowling, for example, I'd say making something topical is what I find most interesting.
Yeah, it's something that it's relevant and you're both and you're also interested in talking about it. That makes a lot of sense. And you've been able to do that for a long time, talk about things that you're interested in and build up this channel. And it's something that you've always kind of dreamed of doing, right? I think you previously described that this is like a dream job for you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What about it makes it such like the dream job for you?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one because it was like when I was young. I'm talking really young at this stage, like 3 or 4. I loved films back then, and my mum still tells me this, that I used to sit my whole family in the living room of our house and play with my toys, and I was telling like a story with the toys and like making a movie with the toys, and but no one else knew what I understood what was going on. and I was telling my parents, like, I love making these, like, telling these stories with my toys, even though it made no sense to anyone else. Like, it's kind of like what Andy does with his toys in Toy Story. Again, one of the big connection I have with Toy Story. But yeah, so that's what I used to sit and like show my parents that my dad would always fall asleep. Like it was almost tradition for him to fall asleep during it. But so I always like to do that. And my mum told me that I would make a great film director one day because I loved telling stories in that way. And so I said, as a young kid, I always wanted to be a film director. It kind of faded off as a dream for me for a long time. So I don't really know why. I got older. Things changed in my life and stuff like that. Nothing too dramatic. And then I think the idea of just making videos and going on YouTube came about when I was about 12, 13, I think. And ever since then, I've looked at that and thought that would be a really fun thing to do. I used to make videos back when I was 12, 13 as well, on a channel that doesn't exist anymore because I was embarrassed of them when I was 15 and deleted them, not realizing how great a reaction video would be right now. But so I made my current channel at about 17, and it took about a year, and here we are. Like after a year, it was good, and now I've been doing it for 3 years. It really is a dream job, though, definitely.
Yeah, because you had that dream of directing and creating your own content, telling the stories that you wanted to.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't really tell stories in the way, as much, but I think, things change throughout your life and make you want to do different things. And I think it's very similar, I think, to what I wanted to do, discussing things. Yeah, I definitely see it as a dream job. Like, I wouldn't change anything about it.
So, do you still have any aspirations of becoming a director someday? Like directing a film?
I don't know. I very recently I've loved the idea of like making like a fan-made film, but I could see myself doing something like that, but I have no experience in the field or anything, so like I wouldn't know the first thing about directing a film. But like I think doing something like that would be interesting, but again, I don't know if I know enough about it. But yeah, there's an aspiration there, but I don't think there's anything in my life that if I thought I really want to do that, I wouldn't try to do. Like, if I thought, I want to make an album of music, I'd be like, I'm going to make an album of music then. Like, I think that's just, like, kind of how I do things, but, yeah.
Yeah, because you've had a background in music,
Oh, yeah,
right?
I've got a big background in music. I think that was one of the reasons why just filmmaking whole passion kind of drifted off a bit when I was going through that young stage, because I was a Abbey chorister back when I was like 8 till my voice broke at about 14, and that was like professional. Like I was five days a week, just like around school hours. Like I was just all day like busy during that, and obviously Sundays were like a big day because it was a religious thing. So, but like I was really busy, and I got paid for it as a young kid. I wasn't allowed any of the money, but I was allowed to spend like some of it, like if I wanted something, but my parents had all control over it. Like, but yeah, it was just stuff like that. I do have a past in music, but I don't really do anything in it anymore. So, but I could still see myself being interested in that in the future, and I'm still see what the future holds.
Yeah, because with the choir, I remember seeing in your draw your life that you like toured the United States, France, and Italy, and you like had all these opportunities. Did that influence you at all to like bring you towards doing a creative field in the future?
Oh yeah, I feel like I was always destined to do something creative. Like if I'd stuck at school, well, I was gonna go do maths or something at university. And I feel like if I'd done that, I might have ended up doing something, just working in an office, which I'm kind of glad. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I'm doing something creative. But I think even if I did something like that, I'd be doing creative things on the side, just as hobbies. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like, because that was something that I always kind of had as well. Like, I was interested in like drawing, but I also had the math and science was like my big thing in high school. And I eventually majored in math. But
you did, yeah. I was gonna say I didn't want to like say anything too negative.
No. It's totally fine. It's not for everyone. And while like I did fine with it, I have my degree. Like I find that exploring creativity and making videos is something I find a lot more fun to do. And I think that's definitely shared by you.
Yeah.
So what was your first experience like editing videos? When did you start making them? Because you said you were like younger.
Yeah, okay.
When you started
I
doing,
can
like,
have
14.
a story from this.
Okay.
So again, so I had that like whole, when I was a kid, there was no cameras involved then. I remember my mum used to make family holidays when we used to go away, like for summer holidays. Summer vacation for anyone in America. Sorry, we say holiday. So yeah, we'd go to like, I don't know, Greece or something, and my mum would just film things throughout the trip, and then we'd watch it when we went back home. But it wasn't edited in any way. The clip would always start with her like working out how to put the camera on or something like that. The classic holiday thing. And I think one year when I was about 14, maybe 13. I said, can I make the family holiday video this year or something? And I filmed stuff over the holiday, and I had like this grand plan for what I wanted to make this video into. And I think I spent 2 straight weeks editing it after we got back. Like Like,
wow.
I don't know if I was doing other things. I can't remember it well enough now. I probably did arrange other plans, but like when I was at home, I was like working on Windows Movie Maker. Is that the software?
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
the
Windows
old
Movie
one.
Maker 2.6 was just great.
That and it wasn't good for like anything like my the editing, like the creativity, like with editing, like you want to do things and then you're limited by the software you have.
Yeah.
It was a very clear case of that. But I spent about 2 weeks editing this video. Not that it would have taken me 2 weeks to edit now, for example. I could have probably done exactly what I did in about 4 hours now. But it just, because I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first experience using a software like that. And I made this and showed the family it. And they were like, what did you just make? Like, I made like it was proper cut up, like 5 seconds jump cuts every second. It was just like an extreme video to watch. And I feel like you just picture everyone's heads gradually turning as it goes on. Like, how did you find out how to make something like this? I don't know what it was inspired by, but I did watch YouTubers back then, so it was probably inspired by stuff like that. And then I have a few videos from when I was a bit older, when I used to have friends over. We just used to like play football or something in the garden, and like we used to make videos of that. I made a few videos like that on an older channel, which is the one I've deleted. I think that was when I was about probably also 13, 14. I don't know which one came first, but it was similar age. And then I didn't really do much after that in terms of editing or filmmaking. Well, I focused on school and exams and stuff. And then one year, as a reward for my exams, because I did really well one year, my mum got me a MacBook. I still have it, one I still use to edit now. And
wow.
As like a reward for doing so well. And the minute I got that, I started my YouTube channel, and I started editing on iMovie, and I did edit on iMovie. I edited on iMovie to about 150,000 subscribers, and then about 2 years later, 2 years in, I think, I moved on to Final Cut Pro, which still isn't probably the best thing for everything. I look at Final Cut Pro every now and again, and I'm like, I should be using like an Adobe software right now, but but Final Cut's good, I think, still. But yeah, and I don't know how I'd be able to use iMovie now, considering everything. But I guess that's just the way it is. But yeah, it was just kind of, you learn as you go along with editing, I found. I'm sure there are ways to be taught, but for me it was like, you try something, it works, it doesn't work, and then eventually you know what you're doing.
Yeah. That's exactly how I felt too. It was just whenever you wanted to do something or you saw someone else doing something, then you had to figure out how to implement it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Actually, inspiration from other channels can't go far enough. Like, I see something that I'm like, that's really cool. I'm going to know how to do that, and there's going to be that in my next video. Like, 100%.
Yeah, definitely like some stylization, especially like graphics and things like that. It's very difficult, you know, because I don't have or neither of us really have like a formal background in doing it. So yeah, definitely inspiration's a huge thing.
I doubt many big YouTubers have that much experience in editing without trial and error. Like, I doubt many of them have like gone through, well, a lot of YouTubers have editors, but even those editors, I don't know with the editors, but like I imagine a lot of YouTubers who edit their own videos just learn from doing it themselves. I doubt they have like learned it in school or something.
Yeah, there's like some of the people that blow up really quick, I feel like are the people that already have a huge background in it, like Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon. Those are people that literally had professional experience and brought to the platform, and then it was easy at that point to already make high quality content.
Yeah, because you can see their content levels above. But then I think there are as many examples of like videos that aren't like extremely edited and extremely well made, but have just got good ideas behind them that have had huge success. Like, I don't know, David Dobrik, I don't think there's much editing behind his, but he's just fun videos. And Mr. Beast as well. Both channels I'm subscribed to and watch every video. But like, they're not like works of, well, they are in a way works of art, but they're not like, I don't know, it's not something you'd hand in at like film school, for example, but
yeah, they're focused on something other than like visual appeal.
It's more of the ideas behind them or just the comedy behind them. Like,
Yeah.
they know people are going to click regardless of what it's about now because they've got so many. But yeah.
So going back to, you got this laptop, you felt destined to do something creative. You had made videos in the past and liked, you know, telling stories with your action figures and toys back when you were younger. So when you got your MacBook, what led you to decide that you had to start making videos and made a channel?
I think it was something I'd wanted to do for a while. Like, as I said, when I edited that video up back in like when I was 13, 14, maybe even 15, I think I did a few of these holiday videos actually. So I might have finished when I was around 15.
Okay.
But like once I stopped with that, this was also around it might actually just be a lack of doing creative things. It was also around the age my voice broke and I left the choir. It all kind of just stopped at once maybe. I had to focus on exams because 14 to 16 was a really like important set of exams here in England, UK. And I think I just, I wanted to make a channel. I was watching YouTubers then. So the amount of YouTubers I watch only goes up every year. Like, because I find more people just to add to that long growing list of channels I love. So at this point I was watching a lot of YouTubers and I think I was seeing them, and the more I watched them I was like, not even in like an arrogant way, it's just like I was thinking I can do that, but I wanted to do that as well. Like, so I think I was seeing a lot of YouTubers and getting a lot of success out of it. I think this would have been 2014, 2015. And at this stage, a lot of YouTubers were now doing really well and making really good livelihoods out of it. And I definitely saw it and thought this would be something I'd love to do as a career. Like when YouTube first came about and the first creators came about, no one thought it was something you could do sustainably. But I think by this point, people were proving this is really sustainable. So I was, there was definitely in the back of my mind that you could do it for a living, but at first it was just something fun, something to show as a like creative output.
Yeah, because so were you doubling down into like your maths and other things like that at the time?
Yeah.
So that was something you could explore more?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, it was just to be creative, have something to do on the side, so I wasn't just non-stop doing schoolwork when I was at home. Like, and yeah, it was just something I enjoyed doing, something I'd done since I was a kid, and I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah. I mean, I completely understand that feeling of like, this was something you're interested in and you saw that it was legitimized, and then it all just kind of clicked once you had the ability to do it with the computer.
Yeah. No, there was definitely, I have a few memories of when I realized YouTube was like a real thing. Like just when you're casually talking to someone and then they mention they know a YouTuber you know, but this was back in like 2014, 2015, maybe even earlier than that. And back then that was like, you know so-and-so, or like, I know it's probably earlier, it was 2012, 2013. It was like surprising to know that a lot of people were watching the same people you were watching. Now I feel like knowing multiple YouTubers, like most people know a YouTuber or two now, so it's just a different environment. But back then when you first found out, like the first person you met that watched a YouTuber that you watched, it was like a big deal to me. I thought, it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, it's been interesting to experience the ramp up of celebrityism onto people that make YouTube videos. Because, I mean, when I made my channel in 2012, and making YouTube videos still felt like a very weird thing to do.
Yeah.
So it was very foreign at the time. It's been interesting to see it grow.
I mean, when I first made my like very first channel and uploaded those videos to YouTube, someone made a comment to me, and this is going to show how long ago it was. Oh yeah, it could go super viral, like Charlie bit my finger and you could make money off it. Like, that was the line. Like, that was how long ago it was.
Yes. There used to be a tab in YouTube where you could see the most viewed videos.
Wow.
I don't remember Charlie
that.
Bit My Finger. Yeah.
There was
like
Potter Puppet Pals was a big one that I remember.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember that. There was like the history of dance, and it was like this
yeah.
one guy that went through like all these eras of dance.
He built a channel for himself for a bit, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, what I love to see is someone who comes off one of those like massively viral videos and is still thriving. I love it when I see something like that. Like one I only realized the other day. I've been watching him for ages. Drew Gooden. Do you know the YouTuber Drew Gooden?
I'm not familiar with them. No.
Do you know the Vine Roadwork Ahead?
Oh, I think so.
And
yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, hope it does. And that Vine was extremely popular. And he's still thriving on YouTube now after that. Like, and he's known as the Roadwork Vine guy. But like, I just love seeing something like that. Like, you just have that one bit of luck one day where something you do does well, and then years later he's still extremely successful.
Yeah. I mean that. I don't know if you've seen one of Brian Hull's most recent videos. He's the voice impressionist guy.
Yeah, I know who Brian Hull. I'm subscribed. I can't claim to have watched his most recent videos though. So.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But he talked about how like when he did the voiceover for Frozen, that when that blew up, like his whole life totally changed. Yeah, that was just fascinating to hear about too. And because that totally happens when you finally make a video that you can see that your hard work is paying off. Yeah. And for you, wasn't that the Who Are Boo's parents?
Who Are Boo's parents? Yeah, I'm impressed you remember. You've done your research. No, that was that video is weird. I still remember it clear as day. I'm sat in the room I was sat in when I like first realized it was like taking off. I filmed it. It was kind of like that was an experiment. That video could not have done well at all, and I wouldn't know you right now probably. So like, well, I might be watching you. I'd be like looking up to you as like, oh my god, I love Isaac, but not. But like, so I made the video as an experiment. I had the idea in the back of my mind. I like obviously seen Super Carlin Brothers have success in the same genre, and I still remember like the funny thing with this video is that like a week before I made a joke video, or no, 2 days after I made a joke video where I went round. My friend had a flat in London. He's got very rich parents. He didn't actually buy it himself, and I made a joke where I went round this friend's flat with a completely separate friend who had a key to it, where we like joked about, and I was pretending it was my flat made off my YouTube money, even though at the time I had like 1,000 subscribers and hadn't made any money off YouTube. And it was just like a comedy video joking about, and I still remember that video did better than the Who Are Boo's parents within the first week. Twice as much. And that Who Are Boo's parents was an experiment. I was like, okay, that didn't work. I had 2 more videos I wanted to try like in the same genre in the back of my. I said I was going to try 4, and if none of them like of Disney Harry Potter theories, I was going to try 4, and if they didn't work, then I was gonna that was my experiment at the time. And then one Sunday night I went to bed, and I woke up on Monday morning, and this video had got a spurt of 50 views and 60 views at 2 and 3 in the morning my time, so some point in the evening, afternoon America. Most of these views had come from America. It was just really random. I had a look at it and I was like, but 50, 60 views to me right now sounds like nothing, but then that like, and there were views around this as well. It tripled the video's views. That night, and this was suddenly like second or third most viewed video on my channel. It had like I think 500, 600 views. I had one video that had like 3,000, 4,000. So, but other than that, like, and then I went to bed the next night and it had a spurt of 200, 300 at 2, 3 in the morning. Like when I woke up the next day. So the day after that, I waited up overnight to 2 and 3 in the morning so I could watch the spurt happen for myself. This is how excited I was for it. And Wednesday night, it hardly spiked up. So I was like, oh, maybe it was just like a random thing. And then, so I went to bed early the night after that. This was Thursday night, I think. Oh, Thursday night, I remember. Wednesday to Thursday, yeah. And then on Thursday, it got like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views overnight. And it just kept growing that Thursday. And by the end of the weekend, it had like, 20,000 views, maybe 30,000 views. And my subscriber number had pretty much doubled from the video. So I was just
Wow.
sat there like, I have no idea how this has happened. A lot of people were like, oh yeah, I got recommended this from Super Carlin Brothers. And I'm like, and then I even got a message from Jonathan from the Super Carlin Brothers during that week, which was really nice of him to do so, because I didn't know them. I wasn't talking terms with them. I was just a fan of them at the time. But Jonathan did follow me on Twitter because I retweeted something when he did like a retweet for a follow back in like 2015 probably. He did a retweet for follow. I got a follow from him, so he had me on Twitter, and he must have come across the video. He must have got sent it or something, and he sent me a message on Twitter saying, "Love your video," and I was like, "Wow." And then since then I was kind of on talking terms with them, and Ben mentioned me on a video a bit after that, and it just helped the channel take off even further.
Yeah, what it felt like through that story is just like the trajectory of your channel completely changed with that one video.
Yeah, overnight. And it wasn't even like it was overnight though, because you can't forget there was a week of this video doing nothing as well. I can't remember that week at all. I remember the week it blowing up very well. And it was a crazy like few days, and then eventually that video went on to get hundreds of thousands of views, and I think single-handedly pushed me to about 30,000 subscribers, which is insane. And suddenly, this was during my summer holidays as well, and I was going to go back to school that next year. That was what I was going to do, and the minute that video did that well, within a couple weeks, I changed my mind on what I was going to do this year, and I was fully focused on YouTube. Because I saw this as like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Like, over the course of this year, because this was about a year into my channel, I probably made about 50 videos, and this was, maybe even 60, and this was the first one to have any success. Like, oh, okay, I had a little bit of success, but it was mostly being shared around with friends before then. This one was the only one to have, like, proper, outside of my friend group success, I think. Yeah, and I just saw this as like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I uploaded another video 3 or 4 weeks later, it went and got like 500,000 views as well. And that was like the first week of September. And I was just like, wow, I can do this now. And I thought it was going to be so easy at that point. Like, this video is easy. Every video I upload gets hundreds of thousands of views. But yeah, the second one can't be understated. Getting that second big video is crucial, because one big video you can't turn into a career, I don't think. It depends how many views you get. You could make enough money off it at the time, but the second big one was great, because then you're like, then it's just, it can grow from there. And yeah, that second video came within 2 weeks for me, but I imagine some people it takes a lot longer.
That it completely legitimized what you were doing again and supported the original viral video that you did.
Yeah, it was just completely within the theme of it was the same type of video, both Pixar theories. It was, as I said earlier, I made a list of 4 videos I was going to try, and well, Huabu's Parents was the first one, and that was the 4th one. So I saw them as like the best 2. I thought I'd upload the best one first and the second best one last, and I guess I got it spot on in terms of views as well. But so yeah, it all worked out well. So yeah, it showed people I got people subscribing and stuff, and it all just worked out from there. Yeah, so
leading up to that viral video, it was just like you were just experimenting, trying things. Is that a good description of what was going on?
Very much.
That was your thought process?
I was doing a lot of skit comedy on my channel at the time, but I was just kind of doing anything that I thought that'll make a good video. It wasn't like there was too much as a topic to the videos. And then I thought I'm going to start doing 1 video a week where I don't just throw together in a few hours and actually spend time writing it, think something thought-provoking up, and talk about a film or something. And that's where it came from.
And how did you choose what topic you were going to focus on? Like, was your dream to become similar to the Super Carlin Brothers since you were watching them when you made those Pixar theories? Or did you just think those were thought-provoking videos that just should be out in the world?
They were, sorry, they were definitely my favorite channel And they're still definitely up there with my favorite channels right now. I feel like I'm in a different dynamic with them because I know them personally. So at the moment, but like definitely 2015-16. I'm pretty sure I tweeted something out in 2015 where I was like, these guys literally have the best channel on YouTube. I don't get how they can't be anyone's favorite channel or something. I've tried to track down this tweet, but I can't find it. But I did tweet it. I remember tweeting it. Which is weird because it's usually the other way around. People remember, let's see a tweet they tweeted years ago and don't have no recollection of it. I remember tweeting this but can't find it. But so yeah, no, they were definitely my favorite channel. And I think I had this idea, and it was kind of like I could have sent the video idea to them in a way, and then it probably made a video on it. Or maybe they wouldn't have. Maybe they thought that's a stupid idea. But yeah, so. But like, I just thought, well, I've got this channel of my own. Why don't I try and make videos like theirs? They're thriving. I think I was subscribed to them when they had less than 10,000 subscribers. So I've really seen that channel grow from almost nothing.
Wow.
And I think they're one of the only channels I had seen grow from almost nothing. All the other channels I'd seen, like, I was watching them make videos. Now they had millions of subscribers, and I was trying to replicate like videos like Niga Higa made. When I first started, I wasn't getting close to his quality of content, but that was like a big inspiration of mine when I first started. And but so yeah, I still don't like to put a label on the content I make.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of, again, the channel's Seamus Gorman. It's just me. I just kind of make what if I think of something, that'll make a good video, I'll make a video on it. But yeah, I kind of replicated the Super Carlin Brothers, and it just worked.
Yeah, well, and that makes a lot of sense, because you were, continuously focusing on making videos that you were interested in, and you shifted what you were inspired by and found a new topic to do, and that's awesome. I was also heavily inspired by the Super Carlin Brothers and other channels that were discussing lore and certain things like that. So I totally understand the whole, I have ideas that I want to share and going down that path, and that's really cool that you're able to obviously grow it into what you have been able to do.
Yeah, no, that's the craziest thing, is that you can grow something that was so inspired by someone else to something so big.
Yeah, because throughout the years you definitely have kept like your personality at the forefront of the content.
Yeah, that even if you watch like Huabu's parents now, I physically can't sit for it anymore, but that's just the way everyone views old content. But like, even if you look at it, that is a very personality driven theory. Like, I find it very awkward to watch and cringy, but there's a lot of like me just trying to be funny and stuff in it, and so I was trying to keep this style to it. Like, it was probably 7 minutes talking about a theory, 2 minutes me just making stupid comments. But yeah, I think if videos get too serious, for me, even especially when watching, actually, I lose interest. I love it when people are just kind of just having, you can tell they're having fun talking about it. Like, and I think that's what comes off best for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to emanate who you are while you're discussing the thing that you care about.
Yeah. And that's why I believe when, like, the week that video started doing well, I was like, yeah, it's just, you can see how much I love what I'm talking about, and that's why it's doing well. That's why I'd say to people I saw at the pub or something that week. Cause
And so, yeah, because this was something that you cared about from your childhood, the whole idea of Pixar and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And so, since you've cared about those things for so long, what has been the most surreal moment now that you're large and you've been able to experience so much? What has been the most like surreal thing that you've experienced?
That's a very good question. The biggest, like, there's a few. I know the minute you ever meet someone who's worked on a film is massive for me. Like, I still remember meeting Brad Bird. I feel like I talk about this too much, but I still remember the day they put us in this like room. I wasn't the only person talking to him. We had like this round table interview, and we were told to get there like at 1 o'clock. I remember that. And we all got there at I got there early. I didn't want to be late. I wasn't missing any of this. So I got there at like 12:45, and they weren't even ready for me yet. And they asked us to get there for 1 to interview them at 1:30. So like, me being early was really early. And I remember they sat us around this table. They gave us a big briefing of like, this interview is going to have to be spoiler free, and just stuff like that. Don't mention this, don't mention that. Like there was like a briefing by this woman with like what's it called? I can't think of the word. One of those,
like a padfolio, or
something like that. She basically just gave us like a briefing, and then I still remember I was sat in there and they were like, yeah, they'll be out with you in about 5 minutes, and I just saw Brad Bird walk across like the corridor through the like visible from the doorway but not come into the room. And the Disney lady who had invited me there, I was like, and I think my jaw physically dropped in that moment, and the Disney lady like caught my eye as I did it, and I was like, and I said like with an open mouth, that was Brad Bird. And she was like, yeah. And like, you could just see how like excited. And that was like really exciting. It was really nerve-wracking as well. But then I also got to meet John C. Reilly, which was really exciting. I had like at the Ralph Breaks the Internet event, I had like a 5-minute conversation with Clark Spencer, who is one of the producers of multiple Disney animation films.
Yes.
Really, really nice guy. I feel like I still think back at it and how I made a comment about how it's got a really good score on Ralph Breaks the Internet has a really good score on Rotten Tomatoes, are the exact words I said to him that day. I still think back about that as like one of those like, why did I say that? But he won't remember me saying that. But no, I had like, that was a really nice chat.
Yeah, I remember him from my video. I made a video about Lilo and Stitch's history, and his first movie that he produced was Lilo and Stitch.
He worked on Lilo and Stitch. That is... Wow, I didn't know that. I knew he'd worked on a lot of Disney films, though.
Yeah, since then he's done like tons of stuff. But
so, yeah, it was a real honor to meet him. And I got to speak to him for 5 minutes. He wanted to like talk to me and know what I wanted to do, know what I did, which I thought was really interesting. Like, that he was interested in that. Like, why would you be interested in me? Yeah, definitely, I would say getting to meet people and stuff like that at events would be the surreal experience. But another big one is just meeting people who watch me. Like, I haven't ever had, like, just a room full of people who watch me, but I have done meetups and meet people one at a time. And, like, I've done meetups and I've been just sat there going through people and talking to people who watch my content for like 3-4 hours before, and it's like that's just incredible that people that there are that many people that came to one specific event that wanted to watch me. And like I went into like the Barcelona football ground at one point, and my friend made like a joke to me when we went in there saying, yeah, this stadium's the biggest club football stadium in the world at 90,000, 100,000, something like that. He was like, you have twice that many subscribers. And I was just looking around the ground and I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, when you put it into context like that, it's ridiculous numbers, but
it's insane. And it's very difficult to think about as someone who's like seen it progressively grow over time, that each individual person watching is someone different and unique. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, you can keep going.
No, I was just like, your point, like, took the words out of my mouth, like.
And this goes back to something that I also wanted to bring up, was that there was a time in your YouTube career, again, this was in your Draw Your Life, that you were going through a difficult time in 2016, and your teachers assumed that the issues were because of YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, how did it feel at the moment, and how does it feel now that you've like been able to grow something this big?
Honestly, I'd love to see them since the conversation went down, but they probably wouldn't remember saying it. But no, it was a distressful time for me that year, that just whole year at school. Like, I just wasn't in a good place, and YouTube was like my one thing to get away from everything. Looking back on it now, I probably was spending too much time on it, considering I had schoolwork to do. But on the other hand, I'm very glad I did. But also, like, it was more of like it was my escape from the outside world. And I needed an escape from the outside world at this time. I can't stress, I really needed an escape from the outside, especially from school. So even though I did probably spend too much time on it, but and yeah, I just wasn't getting the results that I'd got in the past in terms of like grades and stuff like that. And I looked destined to have a dreadful like results. Like that was like your final year of school, so important results, and it was looking like I just wasn't going to do well at the time, and they were right to think that. So they kind of like it's kind of sketchy in a way, but I mean I guess it's in their right to do it. But they kind of called my parents up and arranged a meeting to discuss what I'm going to do, like, because they were saying I wasn't working hard enough, and they were right, but I wasn't in the right mental state. I wasn't like mentally healthy. I wasn't in a good enough position to be doing the work at that stage. I just wasn't in the right place. And so yeah, they called my parents in, and they were like, yeah, he's just not working hard enough at the moment. And I was here at this meeting, and yeah, they were like, we see what he's doing on YouTube every week. We think, why is he spending all this time on that? He should be spending this time on his studies. That was like really but my parents were like, no, keep doing the YouTube. We love it. But it wasn't like a negative. I think my parents understood why I was in a bad place a million times more than the teachers did. And therefore they knew I needed it and needed to be making these videos to be happy. So they were really happy that I was doing it and it was making me happy. So to them, I could redo the exams next year. I could redo the exams whenever. I just needed to, at this moment in time, I just needed to be in a better place. So they didn't mind me making the channel. They didn't try and stop me from making videos. If they had, I might be in a different place now. But like I might not be making YouTube videos. But no, they never restricted me. And so it was interesting. But one of these teachers, one of the last things she said to me was like, you're one of like the most like talented people I know. You'll find success in something creative one day. And she wasn't negative about the channel at that point. She was like, I think they didn't see it as a stable career option, as most people back then didn't, and still probably don't now. Like especially of that age group, which I feel like is grouping up a bit. But my mum didn't know you could make money off YouTube until I started making money off YouTube. So yeah, I just think it was they didn't know you could do it for a living, but also how do you get started? You don't just make money instantly off YouTube. You have to grind through and get through that year or so of maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Some people could take 10 years of not getting anywhere with it, and then eventually you get your success.
And that makes so much sense that they were concerned with where you were at the time. But that's awesome that your parents had the compassion for you and the love for you to continue to support that while you were going through that difficult time and continue to do the thing that was making you happy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's really cool.
They've always been really cool with that. Like I told them I was doing YouTube the minute that video started taking off. Like I told you the story earlier of how like that video got like, I'm pretty sure at the end of that weekend when it had like 30,000 views and I had like 3,000 to 2,000 subscribers or something, I'm pretty sure I told them that weekend, yeah, I'm doing YouTube now, and they were cool with it. Like, and they were like, okay, and then I explained to them how you can make money off it and everything, and like how much my estimated revenue was from YouTube that week, and I was like, I think I can grow this big, and yeah, they were totally cool with it. But yeah, I still wasn't even in a great place when I made that video, but those videos taking off and my YouTube taking off is one of the things that really helped me, I think, as well. So like everyone who's supported me in some way or another, watched one of my videos back then, or even like now as well, just helped in some way.
Yeah, because that it got you to a place where you could build momentum on something that you loved, and that's so cool that it like felt like the way you've been describing it, everything built up to you starting the channel, and then it got you through that hard time, and it's still something that you're able to continue to love. That's so awesome.
Yeah, my mum even tells me now that going through a hard time is like a blessing in disguise for me, because it probably helped me build the channel in a way that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't. So like, it's a weird way of looking at things, but
yeah, failures are something that are so hard to do in the moment, but they typically make you pivot towards something that is better for you.
The best teacher failure is, as Yoda once said.
There we go. We got the Yoda quotes now. So your parents are very supportive.
Yeah.
What about your sister? What does your sister think about your YouTubing?
I think she likes it. I think she thinks it's cool. Let's see. I don't know. She says that her friends, like, I think it's one of those things, like, you tell your friends and they're like, what, really? And it's like, yeah, imagine, like, so she went off to university, back last September for her first year at university. So met, like, a whole group of friends, new people she's living with and stuff. And so eventually that would have come up in conversation, like, oh yeah, my brother does YouTube. He has, like, 250,000 subscribers. And her friends would have all just been like, wait, what? Like, the idea of that, I think, is really funny. Like, they'd have all, like, because that's an impressive thing to say, and it's like, it's an interesting thing. I think she thinks it's cool. I think people in general, like, anytime I bring it up with someone, I find myself never talking about them the minute my YouTube channel gets brought up, because they have so many questions about it, because it is just an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, it still is not something that's, like, widespread, like real estate or something like that.
No, not at all. Like, the minute, like, you meet someone new, and I always have to wait a bit to bring it up, because it's just too much of, like, a question bringer. Like, the amount of questions I get about it, like, when I meet someone new. But like, I do love talking about it, and I do have an interest in talking about it. I just feel like I'm being repetitive with myself, even though I'm telling the same things to different people. But
sure.
But yeah, no, people are really interested in it. It's like, how do you make money from that? Like, oh, how do you grow an audience and stuff like that? Like, how do you get from zero to something? That's the... Yeah.
Well, and for the people that are around you while you're going through the process, it's easier to see. Like, if it would have just woken up one day and had, like, all the success from YouTube, I think it would be more difficult for my parents to understand. But through it all, they've been able to slowly see the process of doing it. So I'm sure, like, your girlfriend as well is like, she's been with you through the journey. A
lot of it, yeah. No, well, I knew, I was friends with her before I had a following at all on YouTube, and I was doing YouTube full time when I first got into a relationship with her though. But yeah, she'd have seen me grow through YouTube and seen me achieve everything on YouTube. He helped me a lot. Like, sometimes I'll just be talking to her and she'll say something and be like, you should do this. Like, for example, and this is like, I honestly think she should run my channel sometimes. My two biggest videos this year were both her idea. And I'm sat there like, can you do this more? So my two biggest videos this year so far are J.K. Rowling's decline. I made a video talking about, like, J.K. Rowling's controversies, and $1 forky versus $25 forky, which was just kind of like a skitty video where I made a forky. Both of those videos were suggested by her, like, as in, she said you should make a video about all the J.K. Rowling stuff because it was trending on Twitter and stuff that day. And she was like, that's on topic, like, on brand for you. People will be interested. It's a trending topic. You should make a video on that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I made a video on it. And then the forky video was, we were in the Disney store and we saw the make your own forky set. And she was like, you should make a video building that. And then I was like, I've got a better idea. I'm going to make it and then make one with, like, scrap parts as well. So, no, but my mum always tries to suggest ideas as well, but she doesn't watch any other YouTubers other than me. So she isn't as in the loop of knowing what makes a video in a way. But, like, she does do this funny thing sometimes. I was with Vegard the last time she did it. She'll watch a film at home, and then I'll just get a really funny text saying video ideas and a list of theories or videos I could make about that specific film. Like, I was with Vegard at Summer in the City, and she sent me one of these when she was watching, like, Guardians of the Galaxy. And I showed him it, and like, this is a long message, by the way. Like, she probably goes into an effort to write it out. It's a really nice thing to do. Like, really thoughtful. And yeah, and he was just like, I need a mum like this. It was so funny.
Yeah, because your mom, I mean, I met her once in Chicago. She's so nice. And it's so cool that they're so supportive of you and everyone around you can help you, you know, in the best way they can. And especially since, you know, you're a one-man team for the most part. right?
Yeah.
So is that difficult? Is that something that you would prefer not to have? What is it like for you?
Very interesting question. So I think realistically, if I was to build a team of like around me to make, it wouldn't be changing my content that much. An editor would probably be someone just to help with editing. I wouldn't make someone do all the editing because that is what I spend most of my time doing. But someone to help with editing would be like, if I was to employ someone, that would be the thing. But obviously right now I'm not in the stage where I can do that. But yeah. But like, yeah, someone to throw ideas around would make things easier. I like just being myself, making videos where I just try, like every video is an experiment in a way. And you never know if it's going to do well or not. So, but I love, I definitely think thinking of ideas, they just come every now and again. I think in a way I know better than like my friends and family what my audience wants to see because I spend so much time involved in it. And I know what videos would work with me doing them. Like, as weird as this sounds to say, there are definitely video ideas I have that I know I wouldn't be the person to make them, but would be good for someone else. Is that,
oh, really?
Is that like something you have or?
Yeah, well, I think sometimes, like, I think there's topics that I typically don't cover that wouldn't resonate with my audience, but that could on someone else's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think there's stuff like that, especially like Marvel.
Yeah,
especially.
Yeah. I've tried a lot to branch into Marvel, but I'm finding it very hard. I guess it's kind of Endgame peaked it for it, so it might be all downhill from here. Who knows? But they're making a lot of TV shows, so. But no, I love Marvel. I do get video ideas where I'm like, oh, that'd be a great video for someone else to make. But no, there's like a thing where it's like I kind of know. I always have like a long list of video ideas, and most of them never come into fruition because they're just not good enough. And it's only if I have like a long period of time where I'm really stumped, where I might make something that I don't think's up to the standard of my videos. But I've told myself next time I have a real stumped period where I don't know what to make, I'm just going to take a break for a bit and like have some time away. So, but it's not for a while. If anyone's listening that watches me, like I've got a good like 5 or 6 I really want to make right now. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you've been able to accomplish so much. You've worked with Disney. You've been able to go on this long journey. And where do you see it going in the future? What would you want your career, whether it be YouTube or otherwise, to become?
I did a Q&A recently where I got a very similar question to this. Like, what do you want to do after YouTube was what this person asked. And I kind of laughed at it because I was like, YouTube was kind of the end game for me in a way. Because I really do love doing YouTube. And I find it funny that some people see like, oh yeah, everyone from YouTube just moves on to bigger and better things. But I think YouTube is as good as it gets in a way. And I don't 100% know what I'll do. I want to keep just doing what I'm doing right now. But I always like to keep my options open. If something comes about that really interests me that I want to do in the future, I'm very open to doing things like that. So I could still see myself doing other things in the future. But I at the moment, just doing YouTube is the dream. That's where I want to be. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Under the control of yourself. Yeah. YouTube is what you're going to continue to focus on.
Yeah. It's just,
that's awesome.
It's just growing it. Yeah. Growing it more. That's all.
That's great. I'm glad that you're doing exactly what you want to be doing and doubling down in it more and more every day. So, Seamus, we're approaching the end of the first ever Following Dreams episode, and the last thing I want to ask you, which is something I want to do with every guest, is I want you to tell all of the listeners what you feel is the number one piece of advice that you would help them follow their dreams. What would help them continue forward on their own journey?
Wow. Okay, I need to think of it here. I don't want to say anything that's like not good advice. I'd say being yourself is really important. But also, if you're doing something creative, because like I'm always gonna give advice for creative things. I don't know much around non-creative things. But if you're doing something creative, you need to create what you want to see. I think I've said this a few times. What you want to see is more important than what you think other people want to see. Like, it's more important to be making things that you think are good than what you think other people might think are good. So being yourself and making things that you are proud of, and that if you were just on YouTube, if you want to be doing YouTube, this is getting very specific now, but if you want to do YouTube, if you are making a video, think to yourself, would you click that video if you were just scrolling through yourself? Like, would that intrigue you? Because I think one big thing I've learned with my channel is that I go through my channel and I see a video that I've made and I'm like, I don't know if I'd click on that. And almost all those times, those videos don't do that well. So that's with YouTube. And I think it can be adapted to other things. It's just, you've got to put your heart and soul into what you do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think you have to put your passion into it. There has to be that honesty with the things that you care about for you truly to enjoy it and to be successful at it. I think that's great advice, Seamus.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This has been
first guest. I'm honestly honored.
Dude, yeah. When I knew that I was going to be talking about, the journey, I thought your story would be interesting to hear about, coming from the perspective of someone who is a really big fan of YouTube and continues to consume content like I do, and then growing it into something and being a personality that has done so much and has been able to work with, the brands that you actually care about. That's so cool. I guess that's another question I have to ask. Let's go. What
the encore?
How? Yeah, the encore.
This can be a segment.
How did Disney reach out to you originally?
Okay, this is an interesting story. I'm curious where I can find the email that I originally got, because I still remember this. I thought it was fake. Because this is like the perspective you have to take with things. It's like, I saw this email and I thought, this is fake, because why would this be true? So I found it. So this was October 2017, and I got an email from someone who works for Disney saying, "Hello from Disney," in block capitals as the subject. Just saying, we've seen your channel and we know you're a massive Pixar fan, and we'll be working with Pixar for their upcoming. We'll be working on all of the upcoming Pixar movies in the UK. We'd love to meet you for coffee to see if you'd be interested in being involved in any Disney opportunities for the future. The offices are in London, and so they just invited me to meet near the offices for a coffee, and I met up with them there, and I just spoke to them. They were like, they basically gave me a list of films they're working on for the next year or so, and I was just telling them like, oh yeah, and basically I didn't realize this at the time, but it was almost a test. Any film that I showed most interest in, they almost jotted it down like, yeah, we're going to invite him to that. We're going to invite him to that. And they obviously know I'm a big fan of Pixar and just animation films. So they sent me that. They concluded I was a big fan of Pixar, and then they didn't. I didn't hear much from them. I mentioned I'm a big Pixar fan. They asked for my address and sent me a DVD of Cars 3 because the DVD had just come out that week. And I remember posting up there. That was the first time they ever worked with me. That's the first time I ever worked with any company, I think. And I just posted this on. Wow. And it was quite funny because I'm not the biggest fan of Cars. So I got this DVD. And I remember everyone was like, is this a joke? You didn't get sent this by Disney. So then, and then a few months later, they sent me Coco, but that was unprovoked. They didn't even email me about that. They just sent it to me. And I was like, oh, am I going to get a lifetime supply of Pixar DVDs? I haven't actually got any since Coco, unfortunately. But a few months after that, they sent me another email. And this was from a talent agency, so not even Disney, saying that I can go to an early screening of Incredibles 2 and meet Brad Bird this June, And again, immediately after first reading it, I thought this is fake. So I checked you've got to like check the emails and see where they come from, and if they have like @Disney as their like email address, then they're legit. And then this was from a company, so I had to look up the company and see this company was a legit company, and it works with Disney.
Sure.
So I was like, oh, it's real. So I replied saying like, oh yeah, I'd be really interested in this. It was also really convenient because that fell the day after I got back from America, because that was when we went to the DC meetup, remember?
Yeah.
That was the last time I saw you, actually. I still remember I landed in, like, you leave America at like 9 p.m. and you land in at like 8 in the morning in the UK. I landed in at 8 and my interview with Brad Bird was at 2. So I landed in, I went straight home, napped for like 4 hours, had a coffee and set off. I was actually fine, but if there was any delays, I couldn't have imagined the stress it would have put me through. Because I just needed to get home to do this. Like, this was so big. But it was really exciting. I got to meet him, and then I spoke to Disney. Then since then, I've been invited to a few more things. I got invited to their Halloween party, which was really fun. And Ralph Breaks the Internet, Toy Story 4. I'm fingers crossed for Frozen too. I'm hoping, because I don't know what the terms are at the moment on a thing, because they didn't invite me to the Lion King, so I was a bit. I'm interested. Like, they invite me to Pixar things. They know that. And when you speak to them, they're like, yeah, we invite different people to different things. So I don't know with the Lion King. I'd have thought that was, but maybe they saw it as like in their live action things, despite it being CG. But I'd be interested to see Frozen 2. I'd love to go to something for that, because I'm really excited for that. I'm not as excited as you, I imagine, but I am still really excited for it.
Yeah, Frozen 2 looks amazing.
It really
I'm very
does.
excited to go see it.
So much better than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Oh, like animation and like the trailer so far and everything?
It looks like it's going to be like a genuinely really exciting story. Like, the minute I saw that first trailer, like, it just got me so hyped for it. Way more hyped for it than I thought it would. I'm as big a fan of Frozen as anyone. I was like, what are they going to do with this sequel? And the trailer was like, oh wow, you're going to do something with this sequel.
Well, and I went back and I watched the original Frozen trailers, and man, those were nothing like what the new teaser trailers have been like so far. They're a completely different tone.
The whole trailer genre got changed by The Force Awakens. Before then, any trailer from before 2014, I'm saying, isn't that good. Force Awakens changed it, because the Force Awakens trailer was iconic. Like, it was like the best trailer ever, and ever since then everyone's just stepped up their game. And like obviously the Avengers trailers have been like so good. I
definitely agree. The Last Jedi also stands out in my mind as just an insane trailer. I remember the moment I watched that trailer, just like I remember the moment when I first saw the Frozen 2 teaser trailer. Like, those are just incredible.
I really agree.
Well, thank you for answering the encore question, Seamus. It's fascinating to hear about how you're able to connect with the company that owns so much of the childhood nostalgia that you've talked so much about online. It's so cool that you're able to work with them. I wish you all the best, and you're able to go to Frozen 2.
Thank you. I hope you get to work on Frozen 2 as well.
That would be great. I'd be very ecstatic to go. It's one of my dreams. But until that day, to all of you who are listening, if you haven't seen Seamus's work before, you can find links to everywhere he is on the internet in the description. And if you enjoyed this discussion, let me know by rating the podcast and subscribing. To all of you fun people who are out in the world, thanks for listening. Seamus, do you have anything more to add?
I don't think so. I thank you so much for listening. And make sure to subscribe to... Are you going to make a podcast YouTube channel? Or just post these on the main channel?
I think that I'll for sure put it on like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything like that. I don't know if I'll put them all on the channel though.
Oh, well.
It'll definitely be clips on Instagram though.
Okay, yeah. Check out the stuff then.
check out all the stuff. Check out Seamus Gorman. Have a magical day.